Cup of quarterfinals went down yesterday there in Boston, and I can tell you that the French national team, making history, and they are in the finals. That's a semi-finals of this year's FIFA Men's World Cup, eliminating that the Atlas Lions of Morocco, who definitely gave in a good fight and remained not until yesterday the last African side or the only African side to reach the quarterfinals of the FIFA Men's World Cup. 2-0. The game ended with goals from Ousmane Dembele and Kylian Mbappe, making that the 2018 champions go through into the next round. But later today, it's all about the game set to go down also between Spain and Belgium. And like I mentioned this morning, in their last 5 outings, the Red Devils of Belgium have not been able to cluster a victory over the La Rojas of Spain. Now we'll talk about the interesting world of football. Well, outside the football stories on the show this lovely afternoon, we'll take a look at what is going on there in the United Kingdom, and it's the Wimbledon, the third major Grand Slam for the year 2026, where we have our finals. That's our finalists in the women's game, Karolina Muchova, and of course she'll be up against Linda Noskova. That's in the women's finals of the Wimbledon. And of course, going on presently in the first semi-final games of the men's is that Otto Ferry having a good fight against Alexander Zverev, but guess what? That's a Roland Garros winner, Alexander Zverev, is closer to actually seeing out this game in a straight set against that Ferry. But later today also it will be Jannik Sinner up against Novak Djokovic, and the man standing between Novak Djokovic and greatness is Jannik Sinner, the current world number 1. Where we talk about the interesting world of transfers, that's tennis. But in the transfer news, we have a lot of updates also making the rounds from the interesting world of transfer. Remember, the 26-27 football season is upon us. That's in the coming months. And of course, our club sides are looking to better their teams compared to what they had last season. I'm being joined by DOLAPO on the show this afternoon, and together we take a look at all the latest stories that make the rounds in the world of sports. But first, we join our partners, the BBC, for the World Football Update, to take a listen to what they have for us, and when we come back, we delve straight proper into that the FIFA Men's World Cup.
World Football Update from the BBC.
Hello, I'm Mike Perkins of the BBC Sports Centre with the latest World Cup news. France striker Kylian Mbappe was forced off the pitch against Morocco with a minor ankle injury. He said he'll be fine for their semi-final, though. Mbappe missed a penalty before scoring his 8th goal of the tournament in a 2-0 win. He's level with Argentina's Lionel Messi in the race for the Golden Boot. As for Morocco coach Mohamed Ouabi, he has promised his team will bounce back from their World Cup exit. Former Morocco international Hassan Khachloul says the 2022 semi-finalists have impressed again.
Once again, we played 3 of the top 8 teams, so to reach the final is very difficult when you've got such good teams to play before. I think what we'll retain is that Morocco have done a fantastic. We've got a young squad, a young team. There's another World Cup at home in 4 years that we look forward to host, and it's very promising.
France will face either Spain or Belgium. Those sides meet in their quarter-final in Los Angeles on Friday. Spain have seen off Austria and Portugal so far in the knockout stage and are yet to concede a goal at the tournament. They take on a Belgian side who are third top scorers at the World Cup, with 13 behind only France and Argentina. Spanish football journalist Guillaume Balaguer says the European champions have shown plenty of quality so far.
We don't concede. Spain is the team that has shot on goal more often of the whole tournament, and meanwhile we're the team that concede the least in terms of shots, so there's a quiet confidence that we know how to compete.
A tough task for Spain though against a Belgium side with a record at the tournament of 2 draws and 3 wins. And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
World Football Update from the BBC.
Messi, Mbappe, Salah, Brazil, Uruguay, Argentina, Colombia, US, England, Germany, France, South Africa, España, Mexico, Japan, Korea, Netherlands.
Well, definitely, it's the FIFA Men's World Cup, and there we listen to what our partners had for us as regards the FIFA Men's World Cup and the game that went down yesterday between France and Morocco. DOLAPO, good afternoon, and what a fight that was from or by the Atlas Lions of Morocco at this year's FIFA Men's World Cup. But against all odds, here we are. They are out, and the French national team are in the semi-finals of the FIFA Men's World Cup.
I'm not feeling fine because my feelings went south. I don't know. I didn't see that coming. But then, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to everyone who has joined us on the show this afternoon. Yeah, I didn't see it coming. I expected Morocco to perform better and expected them to actually knock out the France national team. But then it didn't go that way. They were good. They were not good. They were not really convincing in that game as far as I'm concerned. I expected more from the coach or Abi. I think immediately I saw the lineup, I asked myself questions of what exactly were you thinking about? You have two strikers on the bench and you're trying to play Brahim Diaz as the number 9 in the game. Why not just play with 𝐿-𝐾𝐈𝐒 as the number 9? Someone who can try and at least bully the centre backs of the French national team. Why are you trying to play Brahim Diaz as a striker? Bilal El-Khanos and Brahim Diaz at the point in time were just swapping in the game. They didn't have a shot on target up until the 80-something minute of that game. So, well deserved win for the French national team, and now they've gotten into 3 semi-finals in a row. I think what they are doing in France needs to be studied, because for me, it's not something you see every time. How would you qualify for 3 semi-finals in a row under the same coach? In the semi-final in 2018, they went on to win it. Semi-final in 2022, they knocked out the same Morocco, then lost to Argentina in the final, and now they are in the semi-final again. 8 years, different set of players, because I remember in 2018... 12 years now. I remember in 2018, it was the likes of Antoine Griezmann, Olivier Giroud, and co. that were the major guys in this team. Paul Pogba was so good at that 2018 World Cup. Yeah, Paul Pogba was so good at that 2018 World Cup. I remember them playing against Argentina in the round of 16, and the way they defeated Argentina in that game. Paul Pogba was so good in the middle of the park for them. And in 2022, it was Kylian Mbappe's show, Mbappe running it for them. And now in 2026, Mbappe is still one of their major guys. He has scored 8 goals at this year's World Cup. They have Ousmane Dembele, the Ballon d'Or winner, the Desiree Doué, Badi Bakola, 𝐶𝐻𝐿 is not even playing games. They brought in, they came with 𝐁'Golo Kante, who has not been playing games. And what a game Manuel 𝐿Kone, the AS Roma midfielder, had yesterday. I think some teams in England need to look at these guys instead of signing Santos.
Well, DOLAPO, you made mention of that quite an important thing. Under the Deschamps, we've seen the French national team go straight to that 3 successive semi-finals at the FIFA Men's World Cup. And you mentioned a few players, but I'll tell you that there was one man also who was there in 2014, but he missed the 2018 edition. But the 2023 was there. Now 2026 is.
Please, where did
Lucas Digne went to the 2014 World Cup.
Get knocked out in 2014.
2014, it was the quarterfinals. They defeated Nigeria in the round of 16. They got to the quarterfinals. I think they lost to.
Their football needs to be studied in France. I think what they are doing is not normal for me, because with the hype around the World Cup and as big as the World Cup is, to be performing that way at the World Cup every time is. It's crazy.
Well, they are not the only one performing so well at the FIFA Men's World Cup. You can also talk about
World Cups.
Well, you can talk about Argentina as well. 2014.
They were in the final.
2014, they were in the finals. 2018
round of
2018
yeah,
round of 16.
Yeah, after beating Nigeria to qualify, then they got knocked out 4-1 by France. So not there.
Okay.
Not
so
there.
You talk about
do it 3 times. Get to at least the semi-final 3 times. Then I can praise you.
So you're saying that France, they've done something.
I'm not sure, but maybe Brazil, but I don't think there's any nation that have done that. Getting to 3 semi-finals, this is a competition you come in every 4 years, and most likely you probably come with different players, different set of players every 4 years, and you are performing at the highest level. It is not normal. It is not, because I think in 2018 the goalkeeper was Hugo Lloris.
Yeah.
2022 I think it was also Hugo Lloris. This year is not Hugo Lloris anymore. And they are still performing well. They are not conceding goals. I think in 2014, I remember in 2018, there were talks of Laurent Koscielny and Umtiti being their centre-back pairing. Koscielny got injured. I think Umtiti got injured, but went to that World Cup with that injury. Then since then, his career has went south. But look at them. 2018, their centre-back pairings were, I think,
Raphael
Varane and what's his name now?
Umtiti
in 2022, no.
2022,
yeah. Umtiti was not there. In 2022, it was the Liverpool, the former Konate, Konate and I'm not very sure who was playing Konate in 2022, but I know it was not William Saliba. This year is William Saliba. They have just in every position, and the Rabiot is still playing for them in 2022, and he's still playing fine. And it looks like even in the next World Cup, they will still have young players or players who will be experienced, because in the next World Cup, you still have the Sergio Doué, you still have Vade Bakola, maybe Ousmane Dembele would have gone past his prime, but then maybe Kylian Mbappe will be getting old by that time too, because by 2030 he should be 30. So they have good players that are still coming up every time. And you look at every other countries that they were competing against in 2018, in 2022. Check the age of their players. Look at the Croatian national team. I can remember Croatia got to the final in 2018. They lost to Argentina. They lost to France in the final in 2018. Look at their national team now. The players they came with back then, the Ivan Perisic, the Mandzukic, Luka Modric and co. They are now old. The national team is worn out. Look at the Argentine national team. Most of these players are getting old. They are relying on a 39-year-old Lionel Messi, who again is there to compete against them. Most of these countries are not there. But look at Argentina. Look at what France is doing. I think for the first time since the 2002 World Cup, when Rivaldo and I think Ronaldo de Lima or something, France is the first nation to have two players to have 5 or more goals in a single World Cup. They have Dembele with 5 goals this year. They have Kylian Mbappe with 8 goals as well. I think what they are doing with football is on another level. And to think of it, they've also won the last 2 Champions League.
Keynote. Aside from that, France, they've won the UEFA Champions League. That's Paris Saint-Germain, successive years. And you tell that those players also are influential in the French setup. But as you're talking about, Dembele is there.
Okay.
Dembele is there.
At the last Champions League. The last one that they won. How did you do?
He scored the penalty. He scored the penalty that took the game to extra time. But then, as you've mentioned goals, one name just comes to mind. His name is Kylian Mbappe. 20 World Cup games, 20 World Cup goals. And he became the first man in the history 12 knockout goals in the FIFA Men's World Cup. What a guy this is. And that's talking about Kylian Mbappe.
We call Ronaldo Mr. Champions League. Call Mbappe Mr. World Cup. I think he's always on another level at the World Cup.
You call Messi what?
Mr. Football. But I think Kylian Mbappe is always on another level when it comes to the World Cup. His first World Cup was in 2018. I can remember watching France in that World Cup and the way he performed, his low cost coming from Monaco that year. It was so good. 2022, it was so good. This year, he has been so good as well. 8 goals at this year's World Cup. Not only goals, I think he has 3 assists already.
Yes,
as
3
well.
assists.
So that's 11 goals contribution on this year's World Cup already. That's on another level. So I think Kylian Mbappe, I don't know, even though I think now we'll probably come to an argument we had in 2022. An argument of Messi winning the Ballon d'Or. Was it in 2022 after the World Cup, after Argentina won the World Cup, and many people were talking about what did this guy do to deserve the World Cup. I think we'll have the same argument this year, because if Kylian Mbappe wins this year's World Cup, he might just go on with the Ballon d'Or. Even though I think someone else should win it, I think it's supposed to be an Hurricanes World Ballon d'Or.
So should Lionel Messi also win this World Cup? He's going to enter the shout-out.
I think it.
For the Ballon d'Or.
I don't think he wins it. I don't think he wins it. I don't think he wins it. I don't think so. It will be something else if he wins it. But I think Kylian, the front runner as far as I'm concerned right now, has to be Kylian Mbappe, Harry Kane, and Declan Rice. Those the 3. I don't think so. Well, maybe Erling Haaland as well. Maybe Erling Haaland has a shout as well. Well,
Michael Olise. There's so many
I don't
players.
think Olise would win it. I don't think Olise would make the top 3 actually. I don't think so. Yes, I get the angle. He has been a very, very good footballer this year. He has been so good. Based on what he played, he should be ahead of Kylian Mbappe because he won a trophy for his team, and then if Kylian Mbappe wins the World Cup, he wins it as well.
But we all know that I think it's all about the game of numbers. He is the highest goal scorer in the Spanish La Liga, but let's hold our thoughts for that.
Talk about trophies as well. You were here, okay, not here then, but then we were both in the studio some months ago when a particular team has not won anything and you were castigating them. You didn't say it was a game of numbers, then you said it was a game of trophies. That was what you said, your words. Okay.
Let's hold it. Let's hold it there. But for the Atlas Lions of Morocco, their over 30 games unbeaten run definitely came to an end yesterday, and it came in the hands of that's probably the best side at this year's FIFA Men's World Cup. That's the French national team. But they are out and back to that's at the square of the continent. That's talking about Africa. And this year, if they are going to be adjudged the rightful winners of the that's African Cup of Nations by the Court of Arbitration for Sports there in Switzerland. But we have another game set to go down today, and that's a game between Spain and Belgium. In the numbers, Spain, they've scored 9 goals at this year's FIFA Men's World Cup. For Belgium, they've scored 13. But you talk about the goals conceded by all of these sides. Spain yet to concede a goal at this year's FIFA Men's World Cup. But the same can't be said about the Red Devils of Belgium. 2 year, 1 year. That's they've conceded. That's 5 goals at this year's FIFA Men's World Cup.
Oh, well, I think this is another game that I expect to live up to the expectation. Spanish game have not really been interesting when it's, especially if you want to compare it to what they did at the Euros.
Yeah.
Their game have not been as interesting as you would expect it to be. It's not been convincing, but then they've been doing the major thing, and which is the right thing. I don't care about how you play, just get the result, especially in competition like this. And they've been doing that. They've been winning games. They've played over 10 hours of football, 10 hours of football, and then they've not conceded a goal at the World Cup. That's 6 games, 6 clean sheets for the goalkeeper, Unai Simons, who a whole lot of people were castigating and talking to the coach that you shouldn't play this man. And he has not had a whole lot of saves to make as well, because I think he had that. I don't know. He have had more of the defense line of the Spanish national team have not really been tested. The big game you would say they should have been tested was against the Portuguese national team. But the 2 centre back in that game, Aymeric Laporte and the young centre back Paul Kubasi, were so good in keeping Cristiano Ronaldo in that game, and the other players from the Portuguese national team didn't come to the party, so they were not really threatened. So their defense line have not really been threatened at this year's World Cup, and they've not been playing good football like that. But then they've been doing the best thing, which is getting the results. But playing against the Belgian national team, who have lost or who have not won any of their last 13 games against Spain, they've lost all of their last 5. Especially, they've lost their last 5 games against Spain has been aggregate goals of 13-1. That is how bad they've been whenever they play against the Spanish national team. With the way the Spanish national team is setting up, I think Alex Baena in the game against Portugal was not really as good as I expected. Also, Lamine Yamal didn't really do so much in that game. But I think most of these guys will come to the party today and probably try to show this Belgian national team what is done. But if you have followed the Belgian national team as well, they didn't start the competition well. You followed their group stage games against Egypt, against Iran, and against New Zealand. I think they were not really convincing. But I think if you look at them very well, it seems like they are growing into the competition. I think the coach, that is Goody Garcia, since he made that very bold move against Senegal, removing when he removed the Kelvin De Bruyne and Yeremi Doku in that game against Senegal, I think things have changed for the Belgian national team, because since they made those 2 substitutions, the Belgian national team have scored 7 goals. They scored 3 against Senegal. Then it didn't start these 2 guys against the United States of America. They scored another 4 goals. For a team that was struggling to score goals before, he just removed maybe 2 of their best players, or 2 of those guys that you look at and say these are their best players, and things changed for them. So I think he will do the same today again. He will keep Kelvin De Bruyne on the bench, Yeremi Doku on the bench, and also the man who has been coming off the bench to score goals for them in Romelu Lukaku. He has scored 3 goals off the bench at this year's World Cup. I think it was Roger Milla, the Cameroonian, who scored 4 goals off the bench at the 1990 World Cup or thereabouts. It was one who came off the bench last to score 4 goals. So Romelu Lukaku has the history on the side to break. But from where I sit and from what I've seen the Spanish national team do at this year's World Cup, I think they need to be careful of this Belgian national team. They've not really been tested. I think this Belgian national team will test their defense line. But over 120 minutes or 90 minutes or on penalties, I expect the Spanish national team to go to.
Quickly, what I've noticed that in all of these games, for Belgium especially, they started their group stage, or they went through their group stage games with most of the old legs. And in the knockout phase, Rudy Garcia actually made a few of changes to this side. And we could tell that it's working well. So can we say this is what we expect later tonight in this clash between Belgium and Spain?
I think that is what we expect. We expect the younger legs to start, but sadly they won't have Onana, who is now out with an ACL injury. He will be out for Aston Villa and for the Belgian national team. Maybe ''Tielemans would have to step back because he has been playing in the Kelvin De Bruyne's position as the number 10 over the last couple of games now of the bench in the second half of that game, or late on in that game against Senegal. He played as the number 10, where he scored 1 goal and also created an assist in that game. Then against the United States of America, he could have scored early on in that game. Then he played a really good game as well. I think the younger legs would start. But one thing I want to see is, one thing the Spanish national team have done so well in this competition is they are very technical. They have a whole lot of technical footballers. That is what we know Spain for. They are very technical, and they still have the number 6 or the number 9 on the bench who can come off the bench and score goals for them. Huh? Nah, you know who I'm talking about. Mr. Clutch, Mikel Merino, is who I am talking about.
Well, now to actually say that he has 12 goals for the La Rojas of Spain, and his 11 goals have come in major tournaments, especially off the bench.
He is Mr. Reliable for the Spanish national team and also for Arsenal Football Club where he plays. He's a Premier League winner. You need to add that. You need to add the Premier League winner who scored the winning goal for Spain against Portugal. So you need to add that to it. But I think he would come off the bench again, and he would probably come in clutch. He would probably come on clutch for them. But I think with in as much as they have the likes of Mikel Merino to come off the bench for them, the coach also has to make his substitution quickly.
I was
watching the game against Portugal, and I have been calling for Mikel Merino. I've been calling for Fabian Ruiz, especially Mikel Merino in that game. Fabian Ruiz, Mikel Merino in a game where you kind of have lost the midfield to Vitinha, João Neves, and Bruno Fernandes against Portugal. You have technical midfielders who can win in that back for you, but they make substitutions quickly. And I think that is something we all see very well from the coach. So Lafuente needs to make his substitutions very early, because for Rudi Garcia, the Belgian coach, he has some killers off the bench. If you want to bring in Yeremi Doku off the bench, Kevin De Bruyne off the bench, Romelu Lukaku from the bench, you have people that can hurt you. So make your substitutions quickly and try to hurt this Belgian national team as quickly as you can. But I think this would be a very interesting game to watch.
Well, DOLAPO, of course, calls it an interesting game to watch. But we'll come later tomorrow also on the pitch, and with the help of our partners as well, to take a look at the game that is also set to go down between the Lions of England and this Scandinavian country, Norway.
Honestly, it's a game I will miss for anything. Anything.
And especially their key player, Erling Haaland, being an English boy, born in Leeds. So he's playing for Norway. We know all of these things, how it goes. But quickly, let's take a look at what is going on there in the world of tennis, where it looks like, it's done. Alexander Zverev is into his first the Wimbledon finals as he defeated Otto Ferry in 3 straight sets. Well, for the German, he won a 7-6, 6-2, 6-4 in a match that lasted 2 hours and 15 minutes.
The fairy tale run comes to an end for Otto Ferry. But then what a competition he had. He has been so good in this competition.
So he should break into the top 90. Yeah. The latest. He is 114th presently.
That is. He had a very good run at this year's Wimbledon. I think he did so well. Lost to Zverev. But then you look at what he had done in this competition. It's not easy to get to the semi-final of the Wimbledon. For Zverev, he becomes the 13th man to get to the Wimbledon final. But I'm sorry, I don't think he'll win this one. I think the winner of this year's Wimbledon would come from the game later tonight between Sinner and Novak Djokovic. Hopefully that won't go into 5 hours. Please. Just
5 hours? It can be a game of 5 sets, and then you're seeing over 6 hours of action.
I don't want that. Finish it up in 2 or 3 hours.
I can never forget the Wimbledon 2024. Novak Djokovic against Carlos Alcaraz.
Callisto.
What?
That was a very, very interesting and long
Well, I also tell you, I can't forget Jannik Sinner against Carlos Alcaraz last year.
Yeah.
So
I don't want that. The good thing is that I don't think the final will go into 6-5 hours because it's very these two.
Never underestimate the power of Novak Djokovic taking you into the 4th and 5th set.
Alcaraz have stopped that.
How many times?
Just once.
All right. So as we talk about the interesting world of tennis as well, we go back to transfer stories. And one man, after leaving Al Nassr, is set to lead the selection shoots of Portugal as their head coach. George, what's his name?
Jesus.
George Jesus, leading Al Nassr to that title in Saudi Arabia. Now he's set to lead the Portuguese national team to the Euros 2028 and also the 2030 FIFA Men's World Cup. DOLAPO is all smiles.
Sorry for the laugh.
Why?
I don't know. Well, he's a good coach. He won the league for Al Hilal.
To say he's Portuguese, so he has what it takes.
Okay. I hope he proves me wrong. I don't think. Well, for me, I think for the Portuguese national team, they have a. I don't know. I don't want to call it the golden era, but then it looks like they have a golden era right now. From the defense line to the middle of the park to the forward line, they have a very good team, and I think that they deserve a better coach
than George Jesus.
I don't think he is the man to take them forward. But I hope he proves me wrong, because you don't have this caliber of players we have right now, and you can't boast of something tangible that you've won.
All right. And Santos has joined Manchester United. And I think that's just the replacement in which these guys are looking for in their own setup.
Question marks to Chelsea on why they allowed this man go, but then they have a whole lot of midfielder. He's a very good midfielder. Santos is a very good midfielder. He captained the under 23 of the Brazilian. He captained the under 23 Brazilian team. But for me personally, I think United should be going for a better player, not Santos.
But
you have Kobe Mino. Go for someone else. Challenge for Bruno Guimaraes or bigger players. Challenge for big players if you want to compete. You are not going to compete with Santos.
All right, that's how far we can go today's edition of the show. We'll come your way again tomorrow, 3 p.m. on the pitch to discuss some more football stories at large. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us. Do enjoy the rest of the day, and bye for now.